Hey guys, it's Shawnee and I'm back with another episode of Shawnee's Lab. Oh, that was kind of blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's Shawnee and I'm back with another episode of Shawnee's Lab. And today we're going to do American Horror Story Season 10, Episode 1, Cape Fear. So first of all, I got to say I'm excited that American Horror Story is back. I've been waiting for this shit all year. You know, this is one of my favorite series. I enjoy the storylines, the writings, the characters already. It's the return of the GOATs like Francis Conroy, Evan Peters, Sarah Paulson. You know, they weren't in the last season, and we definitely missed them. We missed them, so I'm glad they back. So without further ado, this episode starts, we're in Provincetown, Massachusetts. I don't know what it is with Ryan Murphy and the creators and the writers, but for some reason all the stories are always set in like Boston, Massachusetts. I'm like, that's not the only place in America. Like, I get it, early colonial days, blah, 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 but can we get some different takes, some different eras? Like, come on, man. So this is house owned by the families named the Browns, who are never seen. We don't know what the family consists of. We just know that there's a family named the Browns. So the family that's moving into the house in Provincetown is a mom, a daughter, and the dad. And the dad's name is Danny, the mom's name is Doris, and the little girl's name is Alma. So, I mean, even with the whole old-timey feel, like, they didn't have to give them old-ass names, like, really, Alma, Doris. I mean, I guess I shouldn't hate on the Doris. I do like the name Doris because that is my great-grandmother's name. So it's not that I don't like the name. It's just, like this is set in, you know, current time. So, like, can we get some current names up in here? So the father is a screenwriter. The mom is a decorator. She used to be a school teacher, but now she's a decorator. And they're getting 3 months free in the house because the Browns saw her on Instagram and they liked her decorating skills, I guess. So they're going to give the family 3 months free, you know, while they're in the house. So that's good. And she decorates it well, I guess. So the daughter is a violin player as well as she's homeschooled by the mom since the mom used to be a teacher. I guess it's up to the parents, but I think homeschooling is okay when, you know, like early development, I guess from the time you're supposed to start learning from, I guess, like maybe 6 months to maybe 5. But after that, you need social skills. You need to be in school. You need to be in programs. You need to be, you know, like even if you homeschool your kids, I still believe that you need to put them in some sort of program so that they're not missing, you know, those early experiences that you need that makes you a well-rounded person. So the family is getting settled into the house or whatever, and Danny is heading for a walk into town, and it's very eerie. Like, it's definitely giving you old Provincetown, like all the houses are decorated, you know, in that old time feel. So it's giving you that old time feel. But it's weird because the town seems kind of vacant, and it's like nobody, like, it's real quiet. And I don't like towns like that. Like, this is why I love the city. Like, I agree with the mom. It ain't nothing like the city. There's a surprise at every corner. It's always loud. It's vibrant. Like, the city is where it's at. So Danny goes to the market and he meets this woman, and you know, she's all sick and coughing and she's cursing and she's like, "Get out of here, you motherfucker. This town isn't good, you motherfucker." And I'm like, "Oh, see, red flag." Like, if I would have went to the market and this lady coughing up, blah, 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 I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm out." And she telling me to get out of this town. I'm like, "Yeah, you're right, lady. You know what? I'm out." So the market man, he's a relative or a sibling of the Browns who owns the house that Danny is now staying in, and he informs her that Karen is crazy and they call her tuberculosis Karen, which is funny, but it's not funny. Like, a lot of people used to die from tuberculosis back in the olden days, so I guess that's why he made that joke, but that's not funny because that disease killed a lot of people. Tuberculosis Karen, I'm cracking the fuck up. So the family's in the house. Alma's playing the violin, Danny is writing, and Doris is decorating. But Danny only has 3 months to finish the script, and the violin playing is upsetting him or is distracting him. So he tells Alma to stop. And Alma was like, "Well, if your script was so good, why do you have to rewrite it?" And it's like, ooh, fucking burn. Like, yeah, Dad, he's telling me to stop playing violin. Because she's like, I want to play. She wants to play like this certain thing before she turns 18. And he's like, tick, tick, tick. And she's like, well, tick, tick, tick on your writing, bitch. So you can't fuck with kids past a certain age, especially them smart ones. Like, they can throw that shit back at you. So Alma and Doris decide to go for a walk. You know, they're exploring the town, they're talking, blah, blah, blah. So for some reason, they're walking through a cemetery. I don't know if you have to walk in or past a cemetery when you're coming from their home, but for whatever strange reason, they're walking through a cemetery. And they see this guy. He's like wearing a bald head. He's wearing like a long gray kind of trench coat. And he looks scary. Like, he looks like kind of drugged out or whatever. And he starts chasing them. And they like, what the fuck? So they're like, run, run, run. So they're running and screaming. And he chases them back to the house. And then he's trying to like break into the house. And he's taunting them. And then he's like, what's going on? What's going on? And she's like, we're being chased. And he's like, by what? And he sees the thing. And he's like, oh, shit. So boom. We already got our first issue. So the police chief comes, and the police chief is played by Adina Porter. Oh, by the way, Karen is played by Sarah Paulson, of course. And then we have the police chief, who's played by we have the mom, Doris, who's played by Lily Rabe. I keep forgetting the guy's name who plays the dad, and then the daughter, she's considered a new actress to me. So the police chief comes and she informs Doris and Danny that there's a drug infested town and all of the people are always getting high. Everybody's on like crystal meth and everything, and they're just trying to steal, to get high. But Danny is like, I don't know. He feels like the guy tried to like bite his neck, which is weird. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, he didn't seem like he came to rob. It seemed like he came to eat me. So the police chief is like, no, you guys are safe. It'll be fine. You won't have any more trouble. So she leaves and they're like, okay. She informs them that it's safe. So then Danny goes, Danny Googles information on the town, and he sees like all of these like weird articles about people being bit up and dead bodies being thrown on the beach and everything and around the area. So he's like, this is kind of weird. So then he goes for a run on the beach, and then he spots a dead body with like, the weird white bite mark on the neck, and he's like, so then he goes back home and he's like, look, babe, he's talking to his wife Doris. He's like, man, let's celebrate life. I guess the dead body made him feel, a certain type of way. So he's like, let's celebrate life. I want to celebrate life. So he wants to go out, but he couldn't go out with his wife because she got sick. Like, she was like throwing up and she don't know what's wrong. So he's like, you should lay down. She's like, oh, go by yourself. Go out. You need some fun. You need some inspiration. So he goes out to this bar, and he's sitting at the bar and overwalks this guy, and the guy is played by Macaulay Culkin. Now he's apparently like some type of tweaker / prostitute, meth head, and I don't know if they're playing off of because Macaulay Culkin used to be on drugs. We know Macaulay Culkin had a drug problem back in the day, but I just gotta say I'm excited to see Macaulay Culkin. Like, he doesn't look too bad. His acting is still there. Like, I'm excited to see Macaulay Culkin. I'm a huge fan. So yeah, he's playing like this drug addict, prostitute tweaker, and he tries to seduce Danny to give him money to have sex. He's like, you look like a rough top. But I'm like, yo, how do they get these characters? How do they get these actors to play these characters? I don't know, but the shit be hilarious. So Danny is like, dude, I'm married to a woman. Like, be gone. So Culkin's character is like, he like, call me, bro, call me. So then there's two people singing in the lounge bar or whatever. I don't know if this is like a bar-side restaurant or if it's just like a lounge, but some type of bar. So there's two people singing, Bella Noir and Austin Summers. Those are the names. And Austin is played by none other than Evan Peters, one of my favorite actors on American Horror Story. And also Bella Noir is played by Frances Conroy. And Frances Conroy is legendary. If you ever watched 6 Feet Under, then you knew Frances Conroy way before she started doing American Horror Story, but Frances Conroy. So Bella Noir and Austin, they're singing in the bar. And to me, they remind me of like Hypnotist or something. Like, it's like this bar scene is kind of, I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this bar scene and them singing because of how it was set up. So they're singing, and then they send Danny over a drink, and he comes over like, I'm not worthy. And he finds out that they're writers too. How they knew he was a writer, I don't know. And that's the suspicious part. So they tell him that they come here for the winter, to get inspiration to write or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I would have been suspicious from that point. Who the fuck goes to Provincetown, Massachusetts for inspiration for writing? Like, what's out there? Nothing. So Danny tells him that he's having writer's block, and Austin is like, it won't last for long. So, the bar scene is kind of really, really nice. Like, it was an introduction to, some key characters like, Bella Noir, Austin Summers, and Mickey, who's played by Macaulay Culkin. So then Karen comes in, and she's like collecting scraps, from the diner, I guess, because, Karen's poor or whatever. And they're trying to kick her out, and she's like, well, damn, I can't even get your scraps. I can't even get your scraps. So she's getting the scraps, and, Austin is making fun of her, in a British accent, like, pay her no mind. And she's like, she warned Danny to stay away from the fucking bloodsuckers, is what she calls them. And I'm like, bloodsuckers. Now, this season is giving me a lot of True Blood. Like, if you guys are a fan of True Blood, I remember watching True Blood a lot growing up. True Blood with Anna Paquin. It used to come on HBO. True Blood was my show, and that's kind of what it's giving me, like, with the bloodsucker feel. Like, the bloodsucker thing is definitely a trademark of True Blood. So Karen is warning him. She's like, you need to get away from him. And they're like, oh, she's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, because of how society treats crazy people, we kind of assume that they're just crazy, but sometimes you should really look into that person to find out why they're crazy. So then it skips over to the house, and one of the bloodsuckers is like, they broke into the home, and they're like fighting with Danny, so he's forced to like kill it. So then back at So back at Bella's house, Mickey is there, you know, prostituting, you know, trying to get some money. And I'm like, $50. First of all, he only charged $50. I'm like, what in the cheap prostituting $50, bro? But she doesn't want to have sex. She want to suck his blood. And he like, no, last time you almost killed me. And she's like, look, fucker, either you let me suck you or you get nothing. And he's like, damn. So she cut his arm and then she's sucking the blood out of him. And I'm like, that's definitely giving me True Blood. And also Queen of the Damned. If you guys don't remember the movie Queen of the Damned with Aaliyah, it's giving me the Queen of the Damned vibes is what it's giving me. So yeah, we find out that Bella Noir is sucking people's blood for money. So back over to Karen. Karen's phone is ringing and she answers it and she's begging like, please, I don't want to do it. I want to do it. But the woman on the phone is like, bitch, you got 3 hours. I'm like, damn, whatever she got to do, bitch, you better get it done in these 3 hours. So then the police chief, she wants Danny to make a statement, you know, because he had to kill the person. And she informs him that no one will miss a tweaker who's trying to steal to get high. And I'm like, well, damn, I get it. Somebody is on drugs and they're trying to rob you to, you know, steal you to go get high. But just because someone is on drugs and they're struggling does not mean that you should have a disregard for human life. Like, I'm going off on a tangent here, but that kind of made me mad because we really don't have, you know, we don't care for human life, especially if somebody is considered undesirable. Like, what does that even mean? We don't have the right to say who and who is not as undesirable. Like, you can't treat people like that. So basically, anybody who's undesirable is just like, the police are like, anybody gonna mess them. Like, that's fucked up. But then again, that's how they treat people that look like me, right? So the police chief is like, you know, he was just trying to get high, and Danny is like, He feel like the guy tried to bite his neck. He like, nah, he tried to bite my neck, bro. He tried to bite my neck. So back over at Karen's, at Bella Noir's, Karen is there, and apparently she stole a baby for Bella Noir, and Karen is like all broken and shaken up about it, but she gets her pay, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. But Bella's like, you gonna do what I say. If not, she don't. So apparently Karen does everything Bella wants, and she protects her from those things that were chasing Alma and Doris earlier. Those, I told you, that bald-headed guy with the trench coat that looks like he's on drugs. So she's like, either you do it or you don't get protected and you don't get no money, bitch. Basically, you die. So then, you know, the family's like, fuck this shit, we out. Which is a smart thing to do. They on their black people shit. Like, they giving me... First of all, I just want to say, this season is giving me season 1 vibes, like with the family moving into a new home. You know, clearly there's problems within the marriage. Like, it's giving me those season 1 vibes with, you know, Connie Britton and, you know, and Tyson Fleming and them. Like, season 1 is definitely probably one of the greatest seasons behind Coven's, hands down. But it seems like they're trying to return to that, you know, original good writing, good characters, good horror, good story plots. Like, it's giving me that. I'm happy there's no supernatural elements so far, and I hope that they don't get into the supernatural. Like, the vampire thing is fine, but please don't do a supernatural. Like, we could do a season without the supernatural. We can. So then Danny goes to visit Austin, and he offers him this black pill. Have you guys ever seen the movie Limitless? That's kind of what it reminded me of. Like, you remember Limitless, the movie with Bradley Cooper, and he was on the pill called MZT, and if you took MZT, it'll make you like really smart and accelerate everything, like your mind, your physical body and everything. That's kind of what it's giving me. So it's giving me like Queen of the Damned, the first season, True Blood, and Limitless, like all in one. Like, I can definitely tell where they were driving these inspirations from, regardless if they admit to it or not. Yo, I can tell the type of movies and shows you guys were inspired from. So Danny's like, what is this? Speed, coke, crack, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, it doesn't have a name. And I'm like, first of all, somebody offer you a pill that don't have a name, I'm already good. Like, I'm gonna hand it back to you. I'm gonna head on out. I'm gonna head on out. Like, I'm not taking no drug that don't have a name to it. Like, that's out of this world. So he's like, it'll make you a better writer. I used to be like you. I used to write things. It's my fault. And I would just say this to anybody who wants to be a creative person. If you want to be a creative person, don't try to accelerate yourself using drugs and et cetera, et cetera. Just do you and keep working hard at doing you. Like, everyone doesn't get a hit, you know, just off instant. Like, some people do music, some people write, some people do all these things for years, and it takes them a while to get on. But that makes you a better person. It shows you your weaknesses, your strengths. So I'm like, I wish Danny would have, you know, just kept that going instead of, you know, taking that. Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but clearly, you know, he's gonna take the pill. So, you know, these little black pills, they reminded me of like Limitless, and I'm like. So at the end of the episode, we see Danny take the pill, and I'm just like, bro, you took the pill. He took the motherfucking pill, man. But anyway, tell me what y'all think in the comment section about this season. You know, are y'all excited for it? Are y'all enjoying it so far? I know a lot of people and some people are saying like the season is not doing it for them, but you got like give it a chance. It's only 5 episodes in, guys. It's only 5 episodes in, and to me the pace is going. It's great. Like it's way better than last season. Like remember I started doing the reviews for last season, but towards the middle of the season it got disappointing, so I stopped reviewing it. But this season I feel like I'm actually going to finish it through. Like I said, it's giving me those season 1 vibes. So I'm telling y'all, stick with this season. But let me know what you think in the comment section. This has been an American Horror Story season 10 double feature, season 10 episode 1, Cape Fear. Let me know what you think.